Do you ever get clones from a friend regretting your decision the next day? Like a bad decision of having a one-night stand? Well, in this video, we're going to get into it. You're here with Mark Batwell at PerfectGardens.com. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate it. Make sure to check out our membership site where I set up a very inexpensive way to get quicker access to me. Just for $2.99, all of your questions get prioritized. Had a post from AskOG. I've had a couple of videos with him. I actually really enjoy what he says. Sharing a story where he ended up going over to a friend's house late at night and pulled 100 clones. By the time he got back home, he realized they were totally infestated. He acknowledges that if he saw what the plants looked like, he definitely wouldn't have pulled the clones in the first place. Although because he had this much time and energy invested into the decision, and it's not like he was just pulling a few clones, he was pulling 100. And if you went over to a nursery and you were purchasing even a tomato plant, like go over to Home Depot and purchase one tomato plant, it's $15 depending upon the size it is. Let's say if you went over to Home Depot and bought 100 tomato plants, that could very easily be $1,500. So he goes through the process of picking up a product called Dr. Earth. It's one of their pesticide products, similar to Smite, having similar essential oils in it, and he was able to salvage about 40 clones. The reason why I wanted to actually talk about this post was because of his fundamental around his decision making, as well as also talking a little bit about the same thing we all think about. How can most ingredients, when you turn it in the back of the bottle, if it says 0.03% in the back of the bottle or just some small little tiny amount, why is it even worth purchasing it? I mean, like, what are you really getting, right? When it says inert ingredients, like 99.7, that inert ingredient is normally water. So I actually completely agree with him in all of these things he did. You know, if I would have went to my friend's house and pulled 100 clones and I came back and they had spider mites, I would have probably done the same thing. Realizing that they do have spider mites, I would have probably separated the ones that were the absolute worst, kept the ones that were half decent, sprayed them down, just because I feel fairly comfortable dealing with the problem, and because I'm aware of the problem, I'm just not going to let the problem go. I'm always going to be very sensitive, knowing that these plants had an initial problem and not just letting it go. Also taking into consideration the time you put into making a decision, right? If you're going to go and pull 100 clones from a friend's place, that's all time and energy. That could be a couple hours, you driving, that's all time and money. And like I said, if you went over to Home Depot and purchased those 100 clones, that could have cost you up to $1,500. So definitely kind of doing a cost analysis where you're like, okay, I'm dealing with clones and they're small right now, and there's a very good chance that I'll be able to get these plants to root. And because it's small, if I am diligent around my pesticide regimen as they're rooting and as they go into veg, there's a really good chance that I'm going to be able to take control of this problem and neutralize it before I go into my larger room, which would be a veg room, or into the flower room. I think as you develop yourself as a grower, I think it's absolutely essential to do what he first did, right? If he would have been there in the day, he wouldn't have even took the clones. And that's, I think, the first fundamental thought process that I think is really going to always keep your grow room or your grow environment in the best of conditions, is just avoid the problem in the first place. Although if you do make the decision, you have to take into consideration your time, how valuable it is, and then also access to inventory, right? Where this industry is at. I don't know where you're located. You could be in Russia, India, Afghanistan, South Africa, South America, and the ability to go to a club or a nursery just to buy what you're looking for might not be available to you. And going over to a friend's house or getting a single clone that has spider mite issues already might literally be your only option. And having some basic awareness of how to solve the problem without causing more problems, I think will only make you a better grower. So I think this is where I think dives into his next comment right here. How can 0.03% of an ingredient in a bottle do anything, right? Well, I completely agree with you. I don't like buying 15 gallons for $1,000 and that be water, kind of like the HydroGuard product that I did a review on recently. I know through experience, if I avoid the problem, I'm going to be able to save enormous amounts of money, time, and energy just dealing with healthy plants. If I need to buy a product, I'm going to want to know what's in it. At the end of the day, I don't mind paying for something that's going to solve my problem as long as it's in line with my values. Although at the end of the day, I do like educating myself and I do like becoming more confident being a grower or just being a farmer or just being a father or being a mechanic or being whatever I'm doing. I want to learn the process. I want to learn the why behind what I'm doing. If you find a product that works for you in your room, this is basic business 101, guys. You're either going to save money, make money, or lose money. And when you find, once again, a product that you like in your room that might have a high ticket on it, first thing I like to do is turn the bottle, look in the back, and see what it is. Is it something that I can recreate myself? Is it something that I can buy the raw ingredients and mix it myself? Because for me, I'm always doing stuff on the bigger level. It doesn't matter what I'm doing in life. Whatever I'm doing always has a higher price ticket. And so I'm always trying to find ways to slim the fat right from the get-go. A lot of growers, though, when they're just growing with a tent, these types of products, you're paying for convenience. I mean, most of the time, you're not going to go buy essential oils and mix it and go through the process of educating yourself because you only have a limited amount of time and you have a job or something else you have to go do, family, kids, and all you really want to do is, most people, they either want to save money because they are spending quite a bit buying it, or they are actually passionate about the plant and want to learn how to grow it. The third factor is someone that wants to make money out of the industry. And it doesn't matter whether you're one of these three options. Understanding your inputs into your operations, the cost of these things, whether it's an employee, electricity, water, all these things, right? That's part of creating a budget and an overall operational cost in what you're doing. And then once you have your cost, at the end of the day, if you're a good businessman or a good businesswoman, you're going to want to reduce that cost by getting the same quality product. And I promise you guys, every single time you get behind the veil, you're going to become more confident as a person to make fundamental decisions in your own life, because you're going to start to think, you know what? I made a decision to stop buying this and I made it myself and it worked out. It actually worked really well and I liked it. And once you do that once and twice and three times, you're going to, like anything else, you're going to become a contractor and you're going to be a skilled electrician, or you're going to be a skilled barber, or whatever it takes, right? I always tell my son, if you want to become great at something, the only way to get there is through practice. So going back over to the overall situation, guys, if you're going to get clones from a friend, you're going to do something, you're going to go to a club and pick something up, trust me, you go to Home Depot, they're going to have bugs there as well, okay, guys? The point to this is find something that works for you. Don't stop educating yourself. Don't stop finding ways to save money or make more money, because that's what's going to create financial stability for you and your family throughout your life. And I hope this channel really helps save you money through making fundamental decisions that makes you a better person overall, because that's what the point to the channel is, I think. Still discovering that overall for myself. Anyways, guys, please remember to give me a thumbs up. I always appreciate that, and I always appreciate your support. Have a great grow, everyone. So leafhoppers, grasshoppers, and locusts are actually all different. Grasshoppers and locusts are fairly similar. The main difference between those is that a locust can actually create a huge infestation